For today's video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know in regards to elements. And I know most of you all know everything there is to know when it comes to elements. This is mainly for people who are new to Save the World. For those of you who are new, welcome. And for all you future AFKers and leechers,
this is an environment of welcoming, and you should just get the hell out of here.
Alright, so once you get to high-end Plankerton, you'll start seeing elemental husks. And there's a total of 4 different elements you'll come across. This first husk is a physical husk, which means he doesn't have an element, he's just a regular husk. You also have nature husk, which are these that have a yellow color. You also have fire husk, which are these with the red color. And you also have water husk, which are the blue ones. And every type of elemental husk has a special ability except for physical husk. So with this physical gunslinger, when he shoots me or attacks me, nothing special happens, it just takes away damage. When you get attacked by a nature husk, it's not only going to take away damage, but it's also going to take away your energy over time. You see it's taking away our energy. When you get attacked by fire husk, it's going to deal fire affliction damage, which causes you to continue to take damage for a couple more seconds. I believe you take 3 more ticks of damage. And when you get attacked by water husk, it's going to slow your movement for about 3 seconds. So that's what happens when you get attacked by different elemental husk.
Let me smash.
Now there are some husks who never have an element, like lobbers. Propane huskies also never have an element. Bees never have an element. Takers and blasters will also never have an element. So physical weapons will always be the best weapons to use against these types of husk. For nature husk, you're going to want to use weapons that deal fire damage. For water husk, you want to use weapons that deal nature damage. And for fire husk, you want to use weapons that deal water damage. And the reason you want to use those elements versus those elemental husks is because they deal the most damage compared to the other elements that you could use. Anyways, here's a visual guide showing how much damage you do with each type of element versus every type of elemental husk. So when it comes to physical husk, you're going to want to use a weapon that deals physical damage because that deals more damage than every other element. When it comes to fire, you're going to want to use water in order to deal 100% damage. When it comes to water, you're going to want to use nature, and when it comes to nature, you're going to want to use fire. When it comes to elemental husk, the energy element is going to be the second best element to use, and the third best element is going to be the same element as the husk. After that, you have physical, and the element that deals the least amount of damage is going to be the counter element. So nature is going to deal the least amount of damage against fire enemies. Fire weapons are going to deal the least amount against water, and water weapons are going to deal the least against nature. But yeah, I'll put a link to where I found this visual guide in the description if you'd like to go check it out. Now certain elements deal more damage against certain types of materials. Fire husk will always deal more damage against wooden structures. Water husk will always deal more damage against stone structures. And nature husk will always deal the most damage against metal structures. So if you get water husk, you probably want to build with metal, because again, they deal the most damage against stone, and metal stronger than wood. If you get nature, you don't want to build with metal, so you'll probably want to choose stone because that's stronger than wood. And if you get fire husk, you can build with either stone or metal. Just make sure you don't build with wood. And there's a few different ways to tell what kind of element you'll get during a specific mission. One way is to look at the modifiers. So with this one, for example, you can see that it has the ice storm modifier, which means that we're going to have water husk during the defense. For ones that have the lightning storm modifier, that means you're going to have nature husk. And for ones that have the firestorm modifier, that means they're going to have fire husk during the defense. So that's one way to tell what kind of husk you'll get. Another way to tell is you'll see a notification in the mission. With Evacuate the Shelter, we were able to see the notification at the 7-minute and 45-second mark. For Retrieve the Data, you'll see the element notification once you locate the balloon's landing site. Alright, so with the Repair the Shelter, you're going to see the notification after you start the first objective, which is to locate the missing modules. For the Fight the Storm and Category Storm missions, you'll see the notification for the element once you place down the last atlas. For Ride the Lightning, you'll see the notification for the first wave once you locate the van, and you'll see the notification for the second wave after you complete the first wave. And for the Deliver the Bomb mission, you'll see the notification for the escort as soon as you put in the blue glow. You'll also see that same notification once you connect the armory to the launcher, and you'll see it again when you start the escort. And again, those notifications are for the element you're going to see during the escort. As for the defense on deliver the bomb missions, you'll see the element notification after the escort, and I believe they show it again once you start it as well. Sometimes you won't see any element, which means you're going to get physical husk during the defense. But yeah, those are the different ways to find out what kind of element you'll get for a specific mission. I guess I should also point out that we have had a different type of elemental husk in the past called the chrome husk. And I believe we got this one during the blockbuster event. In order to kill him, we had to use either fire or water weapons. And I haven't seen him since that blockbuster event, but technically he's not any of the other elements, so just wanted to point that out in case he returns. And for most weapons, you'll have a total of 5 different elements that you can select. In order to change the element on your weapons, you'll have to select Modify Perks, and in order to unlock that Modify Perks option, you're first going to have to complete Plankerton Storm Shield Defense number 2, and not only do you need to complete Plankerton Storm Shield Defense number 2, but for most weapons, you'll also have to level it up to level 15. And once you get to 15, you'll be able to change the element on it, and it costs a total of 1500 re-perk, which is more than it costs to change any of your other perks. And not all weapons will allow you to change the element. Like the sci-fi weapons and vendor tech weapons will only allow you to have the energy element. Vacuum tube weapons only deal nature damage, and dragon weapons only deal fire damage. And certain weapons will only allow you to select specific elements. Like with this spectral blade, you'll only be able to choose between energy, physical, and water. So when it comes to event weapons, a lot of times you won't be able to change the element on it, but for most weapons there's a total of 5 different elements. So some weapons allow you to change the element, some don't, and there may be some weapons where you can only select a certain amount of elements. But yeah, that's how you change the element on your weapons. And there are a couple of traps that deal elemental damage as well. The ceiling electric field trap, the ceiling zapper, and the wall dynamos all deal nature damage. The flame grill floor trap and the tar pit both deal fire damage. There currently aren't any traps that deal water damage, and there's also a few traps that don't deal any elemental damage, like floor freeze traps, floor launchers, wall lights, and wall launchers, healing pads, cozy campfires. So there are quite a few traps that don't deal any type of elemental damage, but all of the other traps deal physical damage, like broadside, ceiling drop traps, ceiling gas traps, wall darts, retractable floor spikes, wall spikes, and wooden floor spikes. So yeah, as of right now, you can't change the element on any of the traps, and there aren't any traps that deal water damage. And there's a lot of heroes that deal energy damage, but the ones I want to point out are the ones that deal elemental damage, like fire, water, and nature. And one of those heroes is Sub-Zero Zenith. He has a commander perk that deals water affliction damage whenever you get a crit hit with sniper rifles. Hybrid also has a perk that allows his Dragon Slash to deal fire affliction damage. And as of right now, I don't think we have any heroes that deal nature damage. So yeah, there's not a whole lot of heroes that deal elemental damage, but there are quite a few heroes that have abilities that deal energy damage. So I'm not going to go through each of the heroes that deal energy damage, but there are quite a few of them, and you'll be able to tell which ones do by looking at their abilities and their perks. All constructors have kinetic overload, which deal energy damage. I believe the Outlander's Seismic Smash always deals energy damage as well. Looks like every soldier's frag grenade deals energy damage. But yeah, I'm not going to go through each of these because a lot of heroes have abilities that deal energy damage. And the last thing I want to do is show an example of the metal corrosion modifier. And I want to explain what you should do when you get metal corrosion with water enemies. Because obviously with metal corrosion, you're not supposed to build with metal. And with water enemies, you're not supposed to build with brick. So a lot of times people argue what you should build with when you have these two modifiers. We're going to go ahead and take a look at both of them and see what they look like. So I want to see how much damage he deals after 2 hits. Let's see. So he took about 120 health away after each hit. And now we're going to see how much damage he does against metal corrosion. So that's what the metal corrosion looks like. Basically, it'll force your wall to continue taking damage after they strike it once. And after he hit it once, it did a total of almost 2,800 damage after 1 hit. So with the stone wall, it did 120 damage. And with the metal wall, it did 2,800 damage. So that's what the metal corrosion modifier looks like. But as you can tell, when a Husky hits the metal wall, it only deals 400 damage because he's not considered a basic husk. Not even the small baby husk will deal metal corrosion. So it only applies to regular husk, which are these guys right here. Only they'll be able to apply that increased damage from the metal corrosion modifier. If I had to choose between stone or metal with the metal corrosion and water husk, then I would choose metal, because basic husks are easy to kill for one. So if one's attacking your metal, you can kill them very quickly. And for two, a lot of times I'll build trap tunnels which take out the basic husk before they get a chance to get close anyway. Anyways, that sums up everything I wanted to go over in regards to elements. If there's any tips I didn't mention, be sure to let us know in the comments below. I hope y'all found the video useful, and thanks for watching.